The scent of charcoal and judgment still hung thick in the neatly manicured backyard of my parents' home in Newton, Massachusetts. A stretch of blue tarp fluttered overhead, heavy with their suffocating expectations, clinging to the air like ivy. I am Elise Carver, 38 years old, and to them, I've always been the failure. At last weekend's barbecue, my mother, Vivian Carver, leaned in close, her words like venom in my ear. 38 and still nothing to your name, Elise. You're an embarrassment. And then there's my sister, Sophia, crimson lips, smug little smirk, raising her glass of wine before announcing proudly, "To the gathering, tomorrow I have an interview for a senior management position at Horizon Innovations." Her eyes flicked toward mine, searching for a flinch, a shadow of envy. But I just smiled. Because what Sophia doesn't know is that I, Elise Carver, am the CEO of Horizon Innovations, and tomorrow she'll be sitting across from me in that very interview room. Before we dive into today's dramatic and unexpected story, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming stories. And leave a comment to let us know where you're watching from. Now let's follow this bitter, calculating tale filled with shocking twists that will leave everyone speechless. Growing up as the Carver family's outlier in our affluent Newton enclave was like swimming against a riptide of tradition. My parents, Vivian and Edward, built their lives on a scaffold of prestige. Edward's Harvard law degree, earned magna cum laude, propelled him to a corner office at a top-tier firm, while Vivian's Wharton MBA fueled her rise in investment banking before she stepped back to sculpt us into paragons of success. Their vision of life was a rigid map: elite college advanced degree, respected career, strategic marriage, polished children, secure retirement. Sophia, their golden star, followed this path with surgical precision. Her Dartmouth degree, her Columbia law accolades, her engagement to a hedge fund manager named Julian, these were trophies hung on the walls of our colonial home, each one a testament to their parenting. My path, though, was a rebellion, a tapestry of ventures they dismissed as reckless. At 10, I turned a lemonade stand into a neighborhood franchise. At 14, I sold hand-coded websites to local shops. At 17, I launched a digital tutoring platform that paid for my first laptop. Elise could shine if she just focused, they'd say at family dinners, their smiles tight, their brows furrowed, as if my ambition was a flaw to be fixed. During my third year at Boston University, I pursued my passion for computer science instead of pleasing my parents. I had taught myself to code in high school, and I spent late nights deciphering algorithms while my friends partied. When I discovered a way to streamline legal document analysis, a neural network that could parse contracts faster than any paralegal, my world changed. Law school, a path I'd half-heartedly pursued to please my parents, felt like a cage. So I left in 2010, my backpack full of code sketches, and announced my plan to launch a tech startup. The family's response was a staged intervention in our living room, with oak paneling, Edward's voice thundering, "No Carver abandons their potential like this." Vivian's eyes shining with disappointment. That night, I started my exodus not with a dramatic farewell, but with a gradual fade from their world, missing Sunday brunches, holiday toasts, and their annual 4th of July gala. My absence was a wound. I chose a price for freedom. Sophia said, sitting primly, her silence louder than words, her expression a mix of pity and triumph. I created Horizon Innovations for 7 years, using my mother's maiden name, Elise Thornton, as a shield from their scrutiny. My first headquarters was a studio apartment in Somerville with a single window and peeling paint. I lived off of instant noodles and grit coating until dawn as investor rejections mounted. No formal tech degree. They would say, too risky, with condescending smiles. But in 2012 at a tech meetup in Boston, I met Clara Hensley, a retired software executive who saw past my lack of credentials. Her incisive questions about the logic of my algorithm made me nervous, and her investment of $400,000 for 12% equity lit the fuse. I leased a small office in Kendall Square, hired 3 developers, and improved my system. By 2014, Horizon Software was able to process thousands of legal documents in minutes, surpassing human teams with 98% accuracy. After a demo that left their managing partners speechless, they signed on saying, "This is revolutionary," his skepticism melting into awe. That contract was my first victory, a brick in the foundation of an empire my family couldn't see. My family didn't know that I had moved to a penthouse in the Back Bay with floor-to-ceiling windows framing the Charles River, or that Horizon had grown to 250 employees with offices in Seattle and D.C., valued at $280 million by 2017. I kept my success cloaked not out of shame, but strategy letting their assumptions. My failure, my drift shield me from their judgment. Holiday cards and infrequent texts from Vivian hinted at their pity. When will you settle down, Elise? I watched from a distance as Sophia's social media showcased her carefully manicured life. My heart divided between relief and resentment. Their world was a stage, and I had decided to write my own script. But the barbecue with its stuffy customs drew me back, and Vivian's text about Sophia's big news piqued my interest. I arrived wearing a dress from a thrift store my Audi parked blocks away to maintain their perception of me, prepared to confront their contempt one final time before the truth would surface. The backyard buzzes with relatives, their voices a chorus of privilege. Aunt Margaret boasts of her son's surgical residency. Uncle Daniel mentions his new Bentley twice before the appetizers, and Vivian's deviled eggs, a tradition as rigid as her worldview, sit untouched as she clinks her glass. Sophia has news. She beams her pride a spotlight. Sophia rises, her silk dress catching the light. I'm interviewing at Horizon Innovations tomorrow for a senior legal counsel role. The family erupts, gasps, claps, murmurs of game changer as Edward cites Horizon's 75% valuation spike, unaware he's praising my work. Vivian's eyes flick to me, her disappointment sharp. Elise, you could learn from Sophia's focus. The table stills. Their pity is a weight I've carried too long. Sophia's patronizing smile stings. Elise is fine in her own way, she says, her tone dripping with condescension. I nod, my secret a fire in my chest, knowing tomorrow will rewrite their story of me, a reckoning I've earned through years of silent triumph. As I enter Horizon Innovations' gleaming headquarters in Boston, the morning air feels sharp like a flint sparking against my resolve. My heart is a steady drum beneath my tailored blazer, and the glass tower reflects the ripple of the Charles River, mirroring the tension coiling within me. Sophia's interview is at 10:30, a collision of my hidden world and her polished facade. I've built this empire, 250 souls valued at $280 million, under the name Elise Thornton, a secret kept from my family's prying eyes. Now the curtain will lift, and the weight of their misconceptions will collide with the truth. My office, perched on the 30th floor, hums with the quiet power of my creation. But my pulse quickens, not with fear, but with the fire of a long overdue reckoning. My chief operating officer, Nathan Caldwell, is waiting in my office with his leather portfolio open to today's interview slate. Good morning, Ms. Thornton, he says, his voice clipped. Sensing the undercurrent, and I've briefed the panel, Lydia from legal, Amir from engineering, and Sophia from HR to treat her objectively, but they know she's your sister. I nod, my fingers brushing the edge of my desk, where a framed photo of my first Kendall Square office sits, a reminder of my origins. Keep the schedule, Nathan. I'll handle her myself. His eyes flicker with curiosity, but he simply nods, his military precision a steady anchor. The morning goes quickly, 3 candidates before Sophia, each sharp, their answers polished, but none carry the personal weight of what's about to happen. The elevator chimes at 10:25. And Sophia enters the executive floor. Her navy suit is as stiff as armor, and her confident stride falters when her eyes meet mine through the glass-walled conference room. Her double take is almost comical, and her practiced smile falters as she processes my presence not as a tech grunt or a receptionist, but as the woman at the helm. I approach, my hand outstretched, my voice as calm as a still lake. Ms. Carver, welcome to Horizon Innovations. I'm Elise Thornton, CEO. Please join us. She stutters, trying to make sense of the sister she felt sorry for, and the boss in front of her. You're the CEO, I agree, and guide her to the conference room, where the panel is waiting with their composed professionalism concealing the strain she is displaying. The interview unfolds slowly as Sophia's polished answers crumble under scrutiny. Lydia inquires about her experience with legal tech platforms, and Sophia's claims of expertise falter, her answers vague and betraying her reliance on traditional methods. Amir's technical questions reveal gaps. She stumbles over basic data processing concepts. her confidence eroding like sand under a wave, and my sister's answers turning raw. "I've always had to prove I'm enough," she admits, her voice cracking. "Every step, every job, it's about meeting expectations." Her vulnerability, so different from her carefully manicured perfection, pierces me, but I hold my role, my face neutral. The panel excuses itself, leaving us alone, the harbor's light streaming through the glass, a silent witness to our unraveling. Wet with unshed tears, Sophia's eyes contact me. "You constructed this everything, and you didn't tell us." Her hands tremble on the table, and her voice is a mixture of awe and betrayal. I lean forward and speak in a soft but firm tone, saying, "I founded Horizon 7 years ago after I left law school. I didn't tell you because your measure of success, Mom and Dad's measure, never had room for mine. I stopped needing your approval to know my worth." Her face crumples as the weight of her presumptions collapses, and she says, "Yesterday I told everyone you were lost, and you let me. You knew I'd walk into this." Her words sting, but they also free me. I nod. "You applied fairly, Sophia. Your resume got you here, not me. But it's about the lies you told yourself and them." Her application is filled with exaggerations, leading cases she only assisted, and client relationships she never built sitting between us, a silent accusation. Her legal training kicks in as she flinches, saying, "I highlighted my strengths, that's all." But her voice falters. Then, like a dam breaking, she confesses, "I've been drowning Elise. Sullivan and Pierce is a cage. I hate it, but I can't stop. Mom and Dad, they expect perfection, always more, always better." Her mascara smears as she sheds tears, and I see her not as the golden child, but rather as a mirror of my own suffering, imprisoned by the same parental chains I broke. I slide a glass of water across the table, speaking gently. "I didn't know it was like that for you. From the outside, you had everything they wanted." She laughs bitterly. "Elise, it's a performance. Every degree and promotion is for them, not me." The atmosphere changes as our antagonism turns into something unfiltered, exposing a common hurt. "Sophia, this job isn't yours. Your skills don't match, and the exaggerations, they matter here." I say as I stand with the weight of the situation bearing down on my chest. "But I can help you find something real, something that's yours." She says, her eyes searching mine with a mixture of hope and shame. "Why would you help me after everything?" The words surprise me, a bridge I didn't expect to build. She nods, her shoulders sagging, and I know this moment is a turning point, not just for her, but for us as well. My empire has come to light, revealing the truth, and the storm of our family's expectations is on the verge of breaking wide open. She whispers, and I pause, the years of their dismissal flashing through me. "We're sisters, and I understand what it's like to feel invisible," she explains. The evening sky over Newton glows like embers, creating long shadows that cover my parents' colonial home, where I stand on the threshold, my heart a river carving through stone. Sophia calls for an urgent family dinner. A summons I answer, not out of obligation, but out of a need to confront the fault lines revealed by today's revelation. My truth that I am Elise Thornton, CEO of Horizon Innovations, has shattered Sophia's facade, and now it will confront Vivian and Edward's inflexible altar of success. The air feels charged, like the moment before lightning splits a tree. As I enter the house, Sophia is by my side, her face pale but determined. We are no longer the golden child and the letdown, but two sisters bound by a shared wound, ready to rewrite the story our parents wrote around us. "Elise, I didn't expect you," says Vivian as she opens the door, her silver hair catching the light from the chandelier, her eyes narrowing at our joint arrival, her voice a thin veil of confusion, her gaze darting to Sophia's muted expression. Edward sits at the mahogany table in the dining room, papers spread out in front of him, his reading glasses low on his nose. He looks up, his irritation flashing, then softening into surprise. "Elise, what's the fuss about?" Vivian's smile wavers, but she points to the table and says, "Let's sit then." Her hostess mask falling away as we settle in the room, heavy with unanswered questions. His assumption that my presence signals a crisis stings, a reminder of their frozen image of me. Sophia steps forward, her voice steady as a drum. "We need to talk about today, about everything." My interview at Horizon didn't go as planned. I learned something none of us knew. Sophia starts her words a slow current. She pauses, her eyes meet mine, a silent handoff. I take a breath, my voice clear as a mountain stream. I founded Horizon Innovation 7 years ago after leaving law school. I've been its CEO since the start. It's worth $280 million. It employs 250 people across 3 cities. The silence that follows is a chasm. Edward's papers are forgotten, and Vivian's hand is frozen on her wine glass. Their disbelief is evident, and Edward's voice rises sharp as flint. That's absurd. We would have known if Horizon was mentioned in the Wall Street Journal. Vivian's fingers fly to her phone, typing furiously. Elise Thornton, that's the name. Have you been hiding under a pseudonym? Her eyes widen as Forbes articles and business profiles illuminate her screen. This is genuine. You accomplished this. As his doubts grow, Edward asks, why conceal this from us? Why did you allow us to believe you were failing? Your measure of success: law firms, corner offices, predictable paths, never allowed for my own. When I left law school, you called my choice a betrayal. Instead of defending myself, I chose to create Horizon on my own terms, not yours. His confusion pierces deeper than his anger, exposing the gap between us. I lean forward, my words deliberate. Vivian's face crumples with a mixture of pride and pain. But this is extraordinary, Elise. Why hide something so grand? It wasn't about hiding, I respond. It was about freedom. Your approval came with strings, and I needed none to know my worth. Her genuine inquiry exposes her vulnerability. There's more I've been lying to. Not like Elise, but to myself. Sullivan and Pierce is killing me. I hate it. Every promotion, every case, it's for you, not me. Sophia says in a raw and trembling voice that breaks the tension. Vivian gasps. Sophia, you're thriving. You're our pride. Edward's jaw tightens. We gave you every opportunity. How can you say this? I reach for her hand, a silent tether, seeing my sister not as a rival, but as a mirror, both of us shaped by their unrelenting expectations. Sophia's tears flow. It's a cage, Dad. Every achievement raises the bar. I'm never enough. I exaggerated my resume for Horizon because I thought it would finally make you see me. Her vulnerability, so different from her polished armor, shifts the gravity of the room. We wanted the best for you, both stability, respect, a legacy. How is that wrong? Edward's protective voice rises. Vivian nods, her eyes sparkling. We pushed because we believed in you. The familiar script: justify, deflect, threatens to drown us. But I cut through with a voice as firm as oak, saying, the wrong wasn't in wanting us to succeed. It was in defining success so narrowly it choked our spirits. You loved us, but only if we fit your mold. Sophia's misery, my exile, they're the cost of that love. My words thunder down. Edward's confidence falters, and Vivian's hand trembles as she sets down her glass. The hours pass in a dance of unvarnished honesty. Sophia opens up about the sleepless nights and panic attacks she hid behind her flawless smile. I also share the loneliness of my early years at Horizon, the rejections from investors, and the nights when I doubted myself, but continued to code. Vivian confesses her fear in a heartbreaking voice, saying, I grew up with nothing. My father's business collapsed. We lost everything. I swore you'd never know that pain. Her confession, a root unearthed, calms my rage. Edward's silence speaks louder than his usual lectures, his engineer's mind struggling with an unsolvable problem. I thought we were guiding you, he says at the end in a low voice. I didn't see the harm. The admission is small but seismic, opening a path we've never traveled. Dessert remains unaltered, so I lay out my conditions with a voice as steady as a river's flow. I want a relationship, but not the old one. No more comparisons, no more ultimatums. Respect my choices, or I walk away again. Sophia nods, her eyes meeting mine. I want that too. I need to find my path, not yours. Vivian breaks down in tears, but she nods. We'll try, Elise. Sophia. We'll try. Edward's hand rests on hers, a rare gesture, and I sense the ground shifting, not healed, but stirring. The night ends with no promises, only a brittle hope, like a seed breaking through frost, and the ripples of this truth will reshape us all. I stand at my window with the Charles River glinting below and feel the weight of my past lighten, not gone, but shifting like a river, finding a new course. The dawn that breaks over Boston, its light soft as a deer's tread, paints my Back Bay penthouse in hues of gold. My home, once a silent fortress against my family's judgment, now hums with a new rhythm, a pulse of possibility born from the truths we exposed. Sophia's confession, my revealed empire, and our parents' faltering defenses have cracked the stone of their expectations, leaving fertile soil for something new. My days at Horizon Innovations soar. The company is a living thing, its roots deep in my vision. After a grueling pitch, we secured a new contract with a Fortune 500 legal department, which increased our valuation beyond $300 million. My team, Lydia's sharp legal mind, Amir's coding prowess, and Nathan's steady hand gathers in the boardroom, their pride a quiet fire. Nathan raises a coffee mug, his rare smile breaking through to Elise, who turned a spark into a blaze. The toast warms me not for the praise, but for the trust we've built, a contrast to the conditional love I once knew. I'm no longer the Carver family's outlier, but a woman whose work reshapes an industry. My office is a haven where my choices blossom without criticism. Sophia and I have been meeting once a week, and our coffees at a quiet cafe on Newberry Street serve as a bridge that we are gradually building. She left Sullivan and Pierce, and her resignation was a brave move. Her eyes are brighter without the weight of their expectations, and she says, "I'm exploring edtech," stirring her latte, her voice full of a spark I've never heard before. I want to build tools that make law accessible, not just for the elite, but for communities who need it. Her passion, raw and unpolished, mirrors mine when I started Horizon, and she accepts my offer of contacts, EdTech mentors, a coding bootcamp I fund through Horizon's outreach, not with her old entitlement, but with gratitude. We're sisters, Sophia. We don't have to carry their old scripts. She says, her gaze steady, and I smile. My home changes, reflecting my reclaimed spirit. The sterile beige walls, which were chosen to avoid Vivian's criticism, now glow with sage green and ochre colors that sing of earth and resilience. I swap out family photos for local artwork such as vibrant oils of Boston's skyline and a woven tapestry from a Cambridge market. My kitchen, which used to be a place of hurried meals, is now a haven with its new copper pots gleaming as I cook with Sophia or friends from Horizon, their laughter filling the space where silence once prevailed. In the evenings, I sit in my study, a corner I've claimed, with a desk and books, writing my thoughts, not for other people, but for myself. Every change, every brushstroke, every meal marks my sovereignty, a declaration that this life is mine, not a stage for their approval. Edward and Vivian start to change their efforts, hesitant like saplings bending in a storm. Edward, always the engineer, approaches our broken bond like a blueprint, reading books on family dynamics, his notes meticulous. One evening, he calls, his voice softer than I've ever heard. "I'm trying to understand, Elise. I didn't see how our push for success hurt you." His admission, raw and unpolished, takes me by surprise, so I respond carefully, saying, "It's not about blame, Dad. It's about seeing me as I am, not who you wanted me to be." Vivian changes more slowly, her text still tinged with old habits. "You're doing so well, Elise, but are you thinking about settling down?" I firmly respond, "Mom, let's talk about what matters to me. My life doesn't need fixing." She pauses, then nods, her answers becoming more casual and affectionate. The annual Carver picnic, which used to be a platform for their pride in Sophia, feels different this year. Vivian clinks her glass, but her toast includes me, to Sophia's new path and Elise's incredible work. The words, though awkward, are a step, and I nod my heart, cautious but open. Aunt Margaret, once a chorus of their judgment, surprises me at a family brunch, her voice low as we clear plates. "I was wrong about you, Elise. Your parents, they didn't know how to value what you built." Her straightforward but sincere apology is like a pebble dropped in still water, reverberating throughout the family. Sophia's journey continues as her EdTech project, a prototype for teaching legal fundamentals to underprivileged schools, takes shape. Her hands are trembling, but her eyes light up, and she invites me to a demo. The program is rough but promising, and it makes me feel proud in a way I didn't anticipate. I offer Horizon's resources developers and data to refine it not as charity, but as a partnership. You're building something real, I tell her, and her genuine smile ties us together. We invite our parents to the demo, and they watch in silence, their faces a mixture of awe and unease. Later, Vivian whispers, "I didn't know she could do this." To which I respond, "You didn't know either of us could." The truth, sharp but necessary, sows a seed for change. Julian, Sophia's fiancé, joins us for coffees, and his quiet curiosity is a balm. He manages a hedge fund, but his inquiries about Horizon's technology reveal a mind free of their rigid paths. One evening, as his hand brushes mine, he says, "Your algorithm, it's like poetry in code." And I feel a spark not of romance yet, but of possibility. We talk late into the night about dreams, not about markets or mergers, but about his desire to teach finance to underprivileged children. I share my early struggles and the nights of mistrust, and his unconditional respect feels like a fresh start. As summer progresses, I throw a dinner for my chosen kin, Nathan, Lydia, Amir, Sophia, and Julian, at my penthouse. The table filled with stories and laughter feels like home, rather than a battlefield. As I pour wine, the lights of the city sparkle outside, and I realize that the present is my victory, not just Horizon success, but a life built on my terms. The ripples of our truth-telling spread, easing the edges of old wounds, and I stand prepared for what lies ahead, my spirit a mountain, unwavering but receptive. The autumn wind blows through Boston, its breath as cool as a river's touch, carrying leaves like prayers across my penthouse balcony. My home now, a haven of sage walls and woven art, breathes with the life I've claimed its warmth, a shield against the chill of old wounds. The truths we've spoken my empire as Horizon's CEOs, Sophia's escape from her gilded cage, and our parents' slow awakening have rooted themselves not yet a forest, but saplings, reaching for light. I stand at the edge of my balcony, the Charles River a silver thread below, and feel my spirit soar, no longer bound to their expectations, but free, a hawk riding the wind. This is not an end, but a dawn where I walk my path and those I love find theirs. Horizon Innovations is thriving, a living testament to my vision. We launch a new platform that combines AI with legal ethics training, a tool that receives praise from both law schools and firms. My team meets in our glass-walled boardroom, and Nathan's steady gaze meets mine as we go over projections. We're at $320 million now, Elise. He says, his voice warm with pride. You've changed the game. Lydia and Amir nod their ideas, sparking new features, and I feel the weight of their trust, not as a burden, but as a gift. I speak at a tech summit, and while the applause is loud, it's the young women in the crowd, their eyes alight with possibility, who feed my fire. I've evolved beyond a CEO. I'm a beacon for those who dare to forge their paths. Sophia's EdTech project takes off, and her prototype is now a complete platform that teaches high school students in underprivileged neighborhoods about their legal rights. She invites me to a launch at a Roxbury Community Center, and as she demonstrates the app, her eyes shine and her voice is steady. The students test the app with sharp questions, and their laughter fills the room like a song. Later, she pulls me aside, her hand grips mine, and she says, "I couldn't have done the work without you, Elise. You showed me I could choose my own way." And I smile, my heart full. You found it yourself, Sophia. I just held the light. Our parents are also there, standing quietly, with Vivian's face soft with awe and Edward's hand on her shoulder. Their pride, once reserved for trophies, now feels genuine, a shift I never thought I'd see. My relationship with Julian grows stronger. He is a pillar of support in my life. One evening, as we stroll along the esplanade, the glow of the river reflects the warmth in his eyes. "I'm leaving the hedge fund," he says calmly but confidently. "I want to teach and build financial literacy programs for kids like the ones Sophia is helping." His dream, so similar to mine, stirs something new, a partnership not of convenience, but of shared purpose. I share my own plans, a Horizon Scholarship for unconventional innovators. I want to fund dreamers who don't fit the mold, I say, and he nods, his hand find in mine. You're rewriting the rules, Elise, for all of us. Our conversations continue into the night. His admiration for my path is a balm, and I allow myself to lean into this connection, cautious but hopeful, a seed of love taking root. Edward joins me for coffee. His engineer's mind now turned inward. I'm reading about conditional love. He says, his voice low. I see now how we tied our pride to your achievements, not your happiness. His words, raw and earnest, heal a fracture I thought was permanent. I nod. It's not too late, Dad. We can build something real. Vivian's transformation is evident at a family dinner where she asks, "Tell me about your scholarship, Elise." Her eyes curious, not critical. I share, and she listens, her smile unguarded. Later she pulls me aside, her voice trembling. "I'm sorry, Elise, for not seeing your spirit sooner, not because of Horizon, but because of you." Her apology, a long-buried root unearthed, brings tears to my eyes, a release of decades of seeking her gaze. The Carver family changes, and our get-togethers become places for connection rather than for performance. At Sophia's new apartment, we host Thanksgiving, where genuine curiosity and laughter fill the table, and cousins inquire about my work. Uncle Daniel tells a story about his own failed business, and I see him again not as a critic, but as a man with his scars. Sophia raises her glass and says, "To paths we choose, not paths we're given." And Vivian echoes, "To my daughters, who teach me every day." These simple yet profound words herald a new season, one in which we view each other not as roles, but as souls. Standing in my penthouse with candles flickering like stars, I write a letter to my younger self that reads, "You are enough. Your dreams, your fire, they're yours. No one can dim them." And I burn it on my balcony with the smoke curling skyward like a prayer. The act, sacred as a ceremony, releases me from the last threads of their judgment. I am not their disappointment or their pride. I am Elise, whole and unbound. My scholarship launches, 10 innovators are chosen, their visions are wild and fearless, and I mentor them, sharing my story. I tell them, the world will doubt you, but your truth is your strength. And their gratitude and drive reflect mine, creating an unbroken cycle. My worlds come together at a winter gala at Horizon's headquarters, where Sophia's app is featured alongside our new platform. Julian is by my side, and his program is now funded by my scholarship. Vivian and Edward attend, their faces glowing with pride. But for us, I speak to the crowd, my voice a river's song. Success isn't a trophy. It's the courage to build what matters to you and to others. The applause fades, but Sophia's hand in mine. Julian's quiet smile and my parents' nod remain a constellation of hard-earned and true love. As snow falls outside, I stand at the center of my life, not proving them wrong, but proving myself right. My path, my home, my heart, they are mine. A mountain unshaken, a sky without end. I'd love to hear your stories and experiences in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to hit subscribe and give it a like to help spread this message to others who might be struggling under the weight of family expectations and society's narrow definitions of success. Share this video with anyone you know who might be fighting a similar battle. Because sometimes the greatest gift we can give each other is the simple reminder that we're not alone in these complicated journeys. Thank you for joining me in this story. And remember, true success isn't about what others can see or applaud. It's about living in alignment with your deepest values and staying true to the daily choices that reflect who you truly are.